we've got Einstein and he's sitting there and we say, hey, what should we do this weekend? He might say, well, go to Six Flags. And your response might be something like, well, my kids don't like roller coasters, so that's not going to work for me. The point we're getting to is that we need to help the AI, and there is a 3-part framework that can maximize it very, very quickly. And I'm willing to give it to you, and I'm willing to give it to the listener as well. And that's the following. What's its role? What's its goal? And what's its backstory?
My family's basically down to 1 month of summer left. And if history is any guide, this is exactly the week my house turns into a low-grade civil war over what we're going to do with it. My wife and I have a budget, sort of. My kids have, let's call them, ambitious opinions. And every year it is the same fight, just with different vacation brands attached to it. So this year, instead of just gritting my teeth through it again, I'm actually building a shared AI project with my own kids, starting this week, not after the fact. Now, I do not know yet how it will turn out, but that's kind of the point here, and also should be part of the fun. So today, Peter and I are walking through exactly how to set this up in your own house, what the parents do first, what you actually hand off to your kids, and how you turn a kid's wish list and a parent's budget into a real decision without anybody crying in the driveway or being forced to survive an over-budget vacation with dissident teenagers. I'm Joe Downs, with me is Peter Swain. We're just a couple of successful idiots using AI to simplify our lives and optimize our businesses. For anyone listening to the show who's new, Peter's British, which means even his idea of roughing it on vacation involves a proper cup of tea and a strongly worded complaint about the Wi-Fi. Peter, speaking of vacation, true or false, the British will complain about their holiday being ruined by rain, then go straight back to the same rainy seaside town next year on principle.
Why would you do anything else? These are supposed to be funny, not just true. We take the rain with us. It's part of the identity.
It is amazing that I guess you do leave the British. I almost said British Isles. I still don't know what that is. You do leave there for vacation. You came to the States. You went to Disney. You went to the Magic Kingdom.
I am a Disney addict. Like, I went there once going, oh, I'm not doing this, and then I put on the ears and I drank all the Kool-Aid.
You're one of them? You're one of the people
I'm
I
one
do
of them.
watch?
I am a Disney.
Do you
I
have
love
the
it.
Disney dad shirt?
I do have the Disney dad shirt. In fact, on my last trip, I even got a lightsaber.
Gosh. He's got a lightsaber, folks. All right, we're already off the rails. We haven't even started yet. Quickly, before we get into it, the other day, actually, I asked a favor on Facebook for all my friends, and ever so grateful for everyone who gave us a review and or rating. If you haven't had a chance yet, thank you in advance. It only takes 30 seconds, but means the world to us. All right, today, again, how the parents go first, set the rules, nobody gets to argue with, then how you actually hand this off to your kids, and the one shift in how they ask for what they want that changes everything AI can do with it. And then we'll close with how a 10-year-old's wish list and a parent's budget turn into an actual decision without a fight at the dinner table. Peter, here's the part that people skip, and it's the part that matters most, I think. Before any kids get near this thing, the parents have to go first and set the guardrails. Because if you hand your kids a blank AI chat and say, plan your vacation, you're going to get Bora Bora on a Motel 6 budget. So walk us through how a family actually starts this the right way. And I just want to say this before you do. This isn't just for families with kids. Yes, I have kids, and yes, I am taking advantage of Peter right now, and yes, you are welcome if you are in the same boat. But this also works with spouses or even just a group of friends planning a trip. So when you hear us refer to kids and you don't have them, or that's not really in play here, instead just hear those other people. the ones that you're either forced to travel with or actually want to travel with, as long as they agree to play by your rules, of course. And that's the point of the show. So we're going to show you how to create the rules and the guardrails for success. Peter, I am all yours. We are all yours. Take it away. Show us how to take this frustrating process and make it a fun one and with a successful outcome.
Love it. Okay, so before we go into, so the order we're going to be doing this in is parents, kids, family. But before we do that, we need to understand how to help the AI to help us. So we were just talking about this before we came on air.
Help the AI help us. So literally, Jerry Maguire, help me
to help you.
Okay.
Help me to show me the money. That's next week. But for right now, help me to help you. Right?
All right. Love it.
So if we imagine like AI as Einstein, one of the smartest people, this thing's IQ is insane. Anyone that uses it in anger knows very quickly that this thing is very, very capable. The problem is if we were to bring Einstein into this equation, Joe, and say, hey, plan Joe's family vacation, plan the next 2 weeks, who knows what he'd come up with? Maybe he would say you should take them to the local fairground, let's call it 8 Flags. Right, 8 flags, 4 flags, 5 flags, whichever one it is.
It's 6, but go for it.
It's 6?
Yeah, we have 6.
Sure
here.
It's not 7?
I haven't done a flag count at 6 Flags, but it's called 6 Flags Great Adventure, so we call it the Big Ten, and there's 18 teams, I think so.
I was trying to trick you into a 6-7 there. I didn't quite get there, but I'll try it again later on.
That's so yesterday. I don't know what the word for that is, but
I'm down with the kids. Okay,
that's cap.
That's low key cap.
Low key cap.
All right, so we've got Einstein, and he's sitting there, and we say, "Hey, what should we do this weekend?" He might say, "Well, go to 6 Flags," and your response might be something like, "Well, my kids don't like roller coasters, so that's not going to work for me." The point we're getting to is that we need to help the AI, and there is a 3-part framework that can maximize it very, very quickly. And I'm willing to give it to you, and I'm willing to give it to the listener as well. And that's the following. What's its role? What's its goal? And what's its backstory? So what's its role, goal, and backstory?
All right, because you said 3-part framework, and my eyes almost started to glaze over. So your 3-part framework is just role, goal, backstory. Role being, so in this situation, role is I'm the dad, right?
So what's the AI's role in this conversation? It's going to help plan this. What's its role?
Tell the AI what its role is. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the goal is amazing vacation.
Okay. Now let me ask you some questions. Is it an amazing vacation? Because amazing vacation could mean $1 million in Bora Bora.
Yeah. Okay. So I need to describe the outcome.
Yeah.
Well, so the role is, I'm giving AI the role.
Yeah. So what's the AI's role in this exercise?
Oh, so it's to be our concierge trip planner, managing my wants, desires, and budget, my wife's wants, desires, and budgets, and my kids' wants and desires capped at my wife's and I's budget.
Yeah. Well, that's perfect, right?
Right? Is that good?
Yes, great. So the role of the AI is to be the family concierge, helping to arrange travel plans during a summer holiday with relevance to husband, father and wife, father and mother's goal and budget, and kids' goals and wants and dreams and ambitions.
Okay. This is taking on a different direction than I thought I was going to set this up, but I really like it. Do I then in this moment, in the role part, tell it that it's part of its duties is to interview me? Because I was going to have it interview me, interview my wife, interview the kids. Maybe I'm getting ahead.
No, you are. It was good, but we're going to do that bit next. So we've defined the role. So what's its goal here?
The goal is to take...
You said a lot of it in your intro. Okay. No kids crying in the driveway. You actually said quite a bit of it.
Okay. So the goal, sorry, is for us to end up with a vacation we all have fun on. It meets to the extent we can. We meet. I want to say something like the most commonly acceptable fun activities, or the highest common denominator of what we all want to do, what all of our goals are, or for likes and dislikes, whatever. So I wanted to. Its goal is to, and actually, I wanted to provide us options, not just say this is what you're doing.
See, this is when people do this, when they go, actually, I want, that's when they're engaging with the question, right? You're actually thinking this through. So you don't want an edict, you want options. So its goal is to give you acceptable options.
Yeah, I want options that fit within the budget, that take into account everything that all of us want to do, but also that it took into account our likes and dislikes from, how detailed do you get here? Like when we like to wake up in the morning.
So now let me ask you another question, okay? Forget AI even exists for a second. This is a you and me conversation. If you said to me, Pete, my wife has just run out of her asthma inhaler. I'm going to give you $50. Please go and get her an asthma inhaler because she's having some attacks at the moment, but do not spend more than $20. Okay? So you've given me $50 because you got a $100 bill. You give me a $100 bill. Your wife is having asthma attacks frequently. Her inhaler has run out, and you've told me not to spend more than $20. Question, would you expect me to come back if the inhaler was $20.01? What would you expect me to do?
I would expect you to understand that was acceptable given the circumstances and situation.
Correct. Now let's say that you give me another example and you say, Pete, we've just been made homeless. All the money's gone. I need to feed the kids tonight. I'm going to give you $100. Please do not spend more than $20, but I need to be able to feed the kids tonight. Would you expect me to spend $19 and bring back protein and vegetables, or $20.01 and bring back some nice chocolate cake as well?
$19.
Right. But the instruction was the recipient, me, $100, and the budget was the same, $20. But the backstory, role goal backstory, the backstory was very, very different. Mm-hmm. The role was the same. Go and spend this money. You're going shopping for me. That's my role. Go and purchase something for Joe. Got it. But the goal and the backstory changed so much that you would expect something different from me. If I came back and said, Joe, the inhalers were $20.01, so I didn't get them, you go, are you some kind of idiot? Mm-hmm. And I go, no, you told me to only spend $20. You're like, come on, man. It's my wife. She's sick. Whereas if I came back and said, I know you only said spend $20, but I bought you some chocolate cake, you'd be like, Pete, I can't afford to eat tomorrow. Why are you buying chocolate cake? This is insane. What people get a little bit wrong with AI is it doesn't have that filter. It doesn't have the discernment that humans have to go, oh, okay, I see what you mean. I get you conceptually. Because when you are talking through your objectives for this vacation, let me ask you a question. Does every human, three children, two adults, do they all have to do something awesome every day? Or would it be okay if Joe has a great time 4 days of 5 and an okay day on day 5? That wasn't clear from your objectives. Is it an aggregate great holiday? How do we define a great holiday?
Yeah, and you can't even use great. It's too abstract, right? What does that mean?
Exactly. So in these objective statements, it needs to sound something like, nobody must do something that they hate. However, everyone should do at least one thing that they would want to take pictures of and write about that would be a memory-making moment for them. But the other 4 days, it can be average to good. We need to define And if you put yourself in the position of you thinking about your time away for 5 days, that I would say that would be okay. Like one day you're like, I can't believe I did that. I want to take pictures of it. I swam with the pigs in Barbados, whatever it was, like a bucket list moment. And these other 2 days, they were okay. Like we did mini golf with the kids and they enjoyed it. So I'm okay with that. This day I got to play golf on my own. That was cool because on that day, wife was with 3 kids. But on this day, wife went to the spa for the day. So I was looking after the 3 kids. So we went and did this. That's very different from every day being great or every day being good because we've got some variability throughout the days. So the role is you're going to be my family concierge and you're going to help me plan this vacation. That's your role. Your goal is we mustn't exceed this budget. We definitely, and we're going to go through those. What's the goal? Each person must have an awesome time. Every person must have one moment that they would want to put in a scrapbook or write home about or that they're going to talk about for years to come. Nobody must have an abysmal, horrible day that they are going to hate that's going to spoil it for them.
If you go this direction, don't you have to then define what an awesome day is for each person, what a miserable or abysmal day is for each person?
Well, that's where we're going to get into in the actual task. So once we've got the role, the goal, the backstory. So the backstory, let's just do that. So the role is this, the goal, these are our objectives. This is what success looks like. This is what failure looks like. The backstory might be Joe doesn't travel well, so he's going to have jet lag. Or this kid is allergic to this food. Or $100 a day is considered a lot of money to spend. Or we don't want to travel more than 4 hours one way or the other. Okay, so that's our backstory. Then we're going to get into the first task that we're going to set it. And this is where we said we're going parents, kids combined.
Where so role, goal, backstory, where do the tasks comes in? Is that after backstory?
Yeah, so role, goal, backstory is almost like 0. Ground 0 is setting up this project, giving it the role, the goal, and the backstory.
Okay.
Then we're going to set it its first task.
Oh, okay.
And its first task is to interview you and your wife and get the guardrails. What are the do's? What are the don'ts? What must happen? What mustn't happen? So those are going to be questions around money, logistics, travel. You're probably the people that are going to remember allergies.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So we're just going to get that from you.
Set the limits on death-defying activities or...
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I would do.
Yeah. Basically, this is what we can afford. This is what it roughly needs to look like. We definitely aren't going here because we went there last year and we're not British, so we're not going to the same place twice just for sentimental rain. We love these kind of things. They would be cool. We're with the kids, so gambling's off. Like whatever it is that is your definition of the guardrails.
Can I pause you because I just thought of something?
Yeah.
When you said we went there last year, this project should be set up for future.
Should live forever. Yes.
And then somewhere in here at the end, I'm getting way ahead now. You should have a recap as part of the task. How was your
100%.
vacation? What did you like? What didn't you like? Now it knows that when it plans your next one.
This whole thing becomes an operating system.
Yeah. Like
that works for weekends, for weeks, for holidays, for vacations.
A year
for
ago,
Christmas.
we were Switzerland, Italy, and amazing. But there were some nuances that I would have told, kind of like a diary, but I would have told it, hey, Switzerland was great, but you got to make sure you really get the rail system down first because they are.
I'm saying if you don't get trains in Europe, you are not going to have fun.
Yeah, but they are very serious about that. Like, you have to order that thing before you get on it. If you're a minute late, they can fine you this amount. And they threatened us. We were like, bro, we were rushing to get this thing. Like, they didn't think that was okay.
No. Welcome to Switzerland. There's a reason they're good at money and clocks.
Yeah. We've got a firsthand experience of it. But the rest of it was amazing, by the way. Highly recommend it.
Which one did you go to? Did you go to German or French Switzerland? So like Zurich or?
Oh, well, we flew
Geneva.
into Zurich, then made our way to Lucerne, and then we went up in the mountains.
Okay, so you're on the German side. So you're in the much more ordered, structured side than the, don't worry about it
There's
side.
a lot of German influence. The food was amazing. Everywhere you turn, it's a screensaver. The town of Wengen, spelled Wengen. My daughter at dinner last night said, I want to go back there. I was like, I would go back in a heartbeat. The whole experience was incredible.
These little stories and the anecdotes, the fact that everything looked like a postcard sounds like a throwaway comment, but it means that physical beauty is important. It's something that you want in your life.
Yes.
So somewhere that's an industrial complex, probably not your jam.
No, but it might recommend Montana on our next one, right?
Exactly. Okay. So this is task one. So task one is we tell it to interview the parents. So this is you and your wife. Just, hey, so tell me something you like. Tell me something you don't like. Tell me this. Tell me this. And what will happen is what you just did, if you just start rambling, which is fantastic. That's what we want. We want a brain dump of when you say don't spend more than $100. And this is why we suggest doing it together. Because do you actually mean that? Do you actually mean don't spend more than $100? Or just like we pointed out with the asthma inhaler example, do you mean that's an indicative price? But if somebody's offering you let's take the Switzerland example. If someone's offering you a free pass for the whole of Switzerland for the 5 days with a tour of the Rolex factory, and you're going to get given a Rolex at the end, is $105 okay for that? Or is this $100 rule an actual hard and fast rule? Because I would imagine if someone said, hey, if you come and do the tour of the Rolex factory, Joe, you'll get a free Rolex at the end of the trip, your $100 rule just went out the window. You're like, yeah, I'll do that for 105. But you wouldn't do it for 100,000.
No.
So we need to give it that richness that we understand as humans of, I really don't want to spend more than $100. However, if it was something that would literally be put on the wall at home because it's the most meaningful thing, and me and my kids are going to talk about it for 50 years. Oh, do you remember when we went and did that? I could find a couple of $100 extra for that. That's the kind of conversation we're looking to have.
I'm wondering in this example, as specific as you're supposed to be getting with a lot of things, specificity, I think in this case, would actually entail not being specific. In other words, I might say around $100. I don't want to limit it if you think based on everything you know about me that I would pay $200 for an experience, but ideally I'd like to be around $100. That vagueness, I think, is actually more specific.
Absolutely. The reason it becomes so weird for a lot of people when they reach AI go, I just don't know what to do with it or how to use it, I'm not getting the results, is because they forget or they're not aware that, I don't know the exact number, I think they make this up, but I think the number is only 6% of human communication is verbal. Only 6% is the actual words we say. And I have no idea how they actually come up with this number, but there is this weird number because there's tonality, there's body language, there's all these other parts. But AI doesn't have any of those other parts. It just has the words.
Oh, good point.
It doesn't have tonality. It doesn't have body language. It literally just has the words that are written. So there are some areas where you want to be hyper specific. For example, my wife is allergic to tomatoes. And I'm not talking a slight, sweaty, bloated allergy. I'm talking anaphylactic shock, take her to hospital level allergy. So we have to be really resolute in what she can eat because tomato isn't a recognized allergy. So it's not on the allergen list. It's not like, soy, milk, da-da-da-da. So if you ever see anything that says general flavoring, it normally includes tomato powder. So there are certain things we just can't risk, like Chinese food, because that is just full of it. Indian food. So in the case of her allergy, I wouldn't say we should try and avoid tomato. I say under no circumstance whatsoever should we even get anywhere near close to this, because if she's even in the room with it, she's going to get an allergic reaction. But then absolutely, as you said, on like financial budgets, the vagueness is part of the instruction. because it's like, yeah, $100 is kind of what we're looking at. If it went down to 20, it's probably not going to be something I would enjoy, if I'm being honest. And if it went over 500, it's probably something that, because Liz and I were talking about this the other day, right? Of how it's amazing how a meal that's $100 can feel incredibly expensive, and a meal that's $500 can seem incredibly cheap, because it's all about the ambience, the service. Because we went out for a meal with the family and it was $100, and I was like, that's the worst money we've ever spent, because the food wasn't particularly good, the service wasn't particularly good. They were late bringing the check. They didn't bring back the drinks on time. We had to chase them up for dessert. I was like, I feel like I've just wasted that money. But I've been out for meals where I've spent $500 and I felt great about it. It's like, that was amazing because it was a great experience and da-da-da-da-da. And those type of stories, the stories you want to tell the AI of going, this is where we're at. So it can go, got it. Well, this place has got 5-star reviews, and it's got 8,000 5-star. It's a little bit pricier than you said, but it's probably the kind of experience that you want as a family. And you go, yeah, that'd be really cool. So with that step done, do you want to go on to the next step? So that was task. So the first thing we did was set up the role, goal, and backstory. So we just go into the AI and say, this is your role, this is your goal, this is your backstory. And then we give it the first task. And your first task is to interview the parents, the husband and the wife, to get the guardrails. Go.
Right. So the guardrails are in. Step one is the parents. Now the kids get the access to the project, right?
Yeah. So now it's step 2.
So, but they don't get to just jump in with, I want to go to Hawaii or Bora Bora, right? What is the sequence? What is a suggestion for a sequence that you would have the kids do? Because folks, both for me and for you listening, this is, I think, should be more than just an awesome project to set up for vacation planning for the future. That in and of itself is worth the price of admission here. But this is also an opportunity to start engaging your kids in helping you plan, so it starts to branch off here. And where are your kids with using AI? This is an opportunity for them to understand how it works and how powerful and important it's going to be. You're doing something together as a family. By the way, this doesn't have to just be family. This could be team at work, right? Whether you're at work, you got role, goal, and backstory. And then if you're the CEO or the manager or the boss, whatever, entrepreneur, owner, you set up the guardrails, right? Those first couple tasks, and then you turn it over to your employees. So whether it's your kids, I want you to stay with vacation planning here, because again, remember, this is for me and the listeners. For the listeners, Peter.
Joe, by the way, this entire process that we're going through is exactly the same process if you're doing it on your own.
Yeah.
I would still suggest somebody sets role, goal, and backstory. I'd still suggest they start with the guardrails, and then I would go into the ideation phase of what would be cool, what do I like, what do I don't like. It's the pattern that we're developing here works, whether it's an individual, a family, a team, a group, a church, doesn't really matter.
But in the second part, where you're the parents who set up guardrails, the boss, employer, or whatever, who set up guardrails. What I was trying to suggest is that these two should track. We're just going to be talking about vacation, but you could be 100%. Talking about anything at work. Okay. So what's my next step? I've done role, goal, backstory, AI's role, what its job is, why I've hired it for $20 a month, what the outcome I want from this is, and then I've given it as much backstory as I can, and then I've also started the task and put the guardrails in place, right?
Yep.
How do I turn it over to my kids? What do I turn over to them? Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say to the AI now, hey, your next task, great job. Congratulations. That's awesome. Before you start planning anything, your next task is to get the feedback from our kids on what they want. Now, and I would tell the AI at this point, do this in an interview format. When they say something, ask questions and keep going until you feel you have a firm grasp of what the subject is. Allow them to be free thinking, but use the guardrails you already have to steer them away from things that are clearly outside of scope without rejecting them outright.
For instance,
so they say, I want to go to Bora Bora. The AI would then say, that's interesting. Why? And the kids would go, well, like summer holidays should have sun. So the AI can say, so is it safe for me to take away from what you just said that summer sun is part of you enjoying yourself? See how we've acknowledged, we've got to the meta, the underlying piece of the actual story, whilst not accepting the Bora Bora piece of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's actually what's happening.
Basically, what about Bora Bora?
Yeah.
So beaches, surfing, boating, I don't know. Never been, but I'm assuming you do all that there. Sun, to your point, activities. That's because
we haven't actually discussed this. This is quite funny. I've only just remembered. I actually did do this with my kids last year. Okay. And Sam wanted to go swimming with the manta rays in Atlantis because we did that a couple of years ago. And he wanted to go and do that again. I'm like, what was it about that? And he's like, we're just swimming with nature and it's amazing and da 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 da. So is it the manta rays specifically? No. Okay, so what was it? And there is a turtle sanctuary 30 miles away from our house where you can stand with your feet in the waves and turtles are swimming around you. And to him, it's exactly the same thing, except it's $8 half an hour away, not $40,000 and 10,000 miles away. So that's what we're trying to get out of people. It's the same thing that we're trying to get out of the parents. Like, well, what is a hard no and what is a soft no? Like, we're trying to now do the same thing on the other side. On one side, we're trying to ascertain the guardrails. Now we're trying to ascertain, well, what does fun look like?
Yeah, what's the experience? Forget the label. Right?
Yeah, it's exactly. Great way to put it. Yeah.
There's a reason TJ Maxx is so successful. It's the look of the bag without the label on the bag, or I guess in a lot of cases it's the knockoff label, but it's the look that somebody wants of the dress, the bag, the shoes.
Yeah, and
without the price tag.
It really makes me laugh when people say that they're bad communicators, because if you start thinking about how good we are as communicators, because if you say to me, Joe, can you just plan this for me? We just really like being out in nature. You would not expect me to drop you and your wife in Death Valley. You'd be like, Pete, what have you done? I'm like, you said nature. This is nature. You're like, no, I meant like Yosemite. I meant like green and trees and stuff. And I know that, you know that. The AI doesn't know that. That's where you have to help it out. So kids, now we're interviewing, and it's steering them and nudging them away from conversations. So now we've got your guardrails, we've got what you want to do, we've got what the kids want to do, and we're all in the same project. So we're ready for the grand reveal, the finale of all this.
All right, let's have it.
Next task. We say to the AI, based on everything you've just learned, the guardrails, the do's, the don'ts, the wants, the needs, what would you suggest? Now, the next part of this is dealer's choice for the listener, because you can ask it to make decisions however you want at this point, and it should really follow how you do it. You could do soccer picks. You could say to the AI, we're going to do soccer picks around the 5 of us. We each get to choose one activity, so give us a list. And Joe gets to choose one. Mum gets to choose one. Kid.
Is this is soccer picks?
But when you choose, everyone chooses their favorite one of the list.
That's called soccer picks?
I don't know. I'm making it up. You must have that. Like when you get picked for soccer when you're a kid, where you say, I'll have him on my team, and the other person says, I'll have him on my team. Same kind of thing.
Oh, so, okay. So a draft.
Yeah, like a draft. Okay, a draft. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So it could be that.
World Cup's over. Okay, we're back to
We're back to
normal life here.
Americanized. Got it.
Yeah.
So we could ask it to go into like a draft mode, or we could ask everybody to pick out their favorite thing mode, or we could ask it to present just an itinerary for discussion. So this is, how do you as a family want to now make the decision? Because you told it at the beginning to present you options. So now somebody has to choose from the options. So how do you want it to do that? Give it that task. This is how we want to make the decision. We want to do it in a draft mode, or we want you to present an agenda or an itinerary, or give us the top 5 things for each day so we can all decide one.
Or make recommendations based on everyone's feedback.
However you want to do it.
Or how to fit, because I might have said I want to play golf one day. I don't need to play every day.
Yep.
Right. So present us a couple different options that check off everybody's top choice, or number one thing they want to do. My daughter wants to lay on a beach. Yeah. Or my boys and I want to play golf together one day, at least. My wife and daughter want to go shopping one day, whatever. I don't know. My wife always wants to see waterfalls. So give us a plan and a destination where we can accomplish all of that. That's, I mean, you're right. Dealer's choice. That's how I would do it.
Perfect.
I would look for the aggregate in the vacation, not so much the every day I need to feel a 7 out of 10 type of thing. That's just me. Others could say every day has to be this, and for it to be this, then I need to check off these 3 boxes: coffee in the morning and a long walk on the beach, and whatever makes your 7 out of 10 day. I would do it differently because I don't know, I'm a parent who's used to not getting their way on vacation. So as long as the day doesn't suck, and if it does, I'll speak up. But that to me is also in the planning up front, right? If I'm looking at something going, we
did exactly this process the last time we were at Disney. And the way we did Disney last time was very different to how we've done it in the past, because I didn't even know this concept of rope drop. You ever heard about this?
No, because the proper way to do Disney is once. So you've already lost me with the last time.
So
the last time was the only time for me.
Okay. So when you do like Disney and when you're staying in one of the resort hotels, there is what they call rope drop is when they open the park. But for people that are staying in the hotels, you can go through an hour earlier. Now, what the interesting thing is, if you get to a ride that you can get to quick enough and doesn't last too long, you can not only do that ride, you can get in the beginning of the queue for the next ride before the park opens. But you have to time it next to one you can walk to and get on and get off. Because we did it at summer, what we decided to do, and honestly what the AI suggested, is why don't you go from 6 to 11 in the morning, and then why don't you go back to the hotel from 11 till 5, and then why don't you go back to the park from 5 till 8, and we'll use your fast pass at this 5 to 8 one. So Disney is a logistical nightmare.
Oh, I know. We had a guide the first 2 days. We did all this. And
it came back and said, this is what your plan is for today. This is Olivia's day. So her top pick is in this day. Make sure you tell Sam tomorrow is his day and this is what we're doing on that day. And the day after that, Pete, that's your day because we're going to go and do that, not that and that. So we've done exactly this process.
Let me save you future headaches. Just go to Universal, and if you want the real cheat code, do it over Christmas. We did.
I've heard this.
Harry Potter's Haggard, whatever motorcycle ride. I forget the name. It's like the best ride down there at every park. 3 times in 20 minutes, Christmas morning. You're welcome. Moving along. And that's a 3-hour wait. 3-hour wait, 3 times in 20 minutes. Could have done it a 4th, but it was Christmas, and my poor son. Poor kid has been ruined. This is amazing. I'm so glad we had this discussion. I feel like we skipped, or we haven't gotten to, maybe to be fair, I'm not going to say you skipped it. We haven't gotten to. I think maybe an important part of being, and this is for the parent child. So if your spouses or group friends, may not be applicable. Employer, employee, maybe you'll find some analogies here. But parent child, this is August is also the time where kids remember they have summer schoolwork and parents really start to crank up the heat on it. How does all this factor in? Because can't we use this as leverage? And also, like, can't we gamify this? If you get this done before this date, you get to choose, not Bora Bora, but, maybe we ratchet something up, or you get to do an activity.
I think I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay, let me have it.
You know how easy this is? With everything we've done, all you have to do is just change the goal.
Okay.
Just add that in the goal.
So the goal is to...
The role, the goal, the backstory. We told it its role was to be a travel concierge, da-da-da-da-da-da. And we told it the goal was to make everyone happy and not spend too much money and all those wonderful things. If you're now saying, which I love, that its goal is now to incentivize the children to do the school summer work, just add it into the goal. And the whole output from that point on will change accordingly.
Okay. So, but could you gamify?
That's how foundation, well, tell it to. That's what I'm saying. Tell it your goal is to achieve an awesome family vacation and that everybody is happy and that everybody has one landmark moment and that you gamify this whole system in order to ensure the kids get through their summer schoolwork.
So it's simple example. If each child gets through all of their summer work, whatever they have to do, the reward is they will have earned one, I want to do it on vacation, no questions asked, as long as it's under X amount of dollars or something.
Yes.
Right. And now you're going into that vacation, and that actually could be part of their planning too. If they've achieved, because they'll all assume they're going to achieve it, the goal, they're going to naturally think, all right, I've got this in the bag. So that'll be part of their vacation planning. I want to go, paragliding. I was going to say skydiving. I would never let my kids do that. But we, believe it or not, I think it was paragliding in Switzerland. We didn't do it, but we did a lot of research on it. I think I was a Gemini research. It's actually it's very safe. It's like 99% success rate on these things. Very, very few fatalities. And the one commonality between fatalities was the length, or not the length, basically the experience of the guide. So if they had under X amount of hours as a guide in the air, their accident rate was like 10x the over a certain amount of hours. And I was like, all right, well, I just thought of that. That was so interesting last year when we were looking at that. But as an example, that could be something where I said, you get this done. It costs under X amount of dollars. You get no questions asked. You get to do it. And I guess you could do the same thing with employees.
100%.
Fascinating.
But I use that. I'm glad you brought it up. Really glad you brought it up, because it paints to me the importance of those three sentences at the beginning: the role, the goal, and the backstory. And wherever we're at with AI, whatever we're getting it to do, whether we're asking it to help us with a recipe or work on a P&L or do family vacation planning, these three tenets are so key. What is the role? What is the goal? And what is the backstory? And by just adding this one thing into the goal, all the tasks that we said are the same. Interview the parents, interview the kids, the voting and nothing has changed except one sentence in the goal is going to massively change how this whole thing plays out.
I mean, it's so simple now. I mean, I've struggled to help folks use AI better. I mean, that's the whole reason we have this podcast. I'm on the phone with my brother last night, having these conversations and using analogies and helping him. He's super smart and struggling with how to use it. This is his admission. And funny enough, his words. I know you're tired of hearing me say it. Mental block. He's like, I just have a mental block with it. It's this incredible. I'll use the word tool, but could be, is a tool, but also is an employee, a business coach, a life partner. I don't mean life partner in that way, but like a chief of staff type of life partner. And people just don't know how to use it. And I love role, goal, backstory. Like, Peter, that actually helps me. I know I'm using it in that way, but just not that organized and in that order. And I think that structure is actually going to help me with my projects, not just vacation planning, but how I think about everything going forward. Because I don't tend to think of AI, for me mostly Claude, as having a role. I probably skip that part the most, because the fact that I'm using it in my mind is me telling it its role, but I haven't actually told it its role. I'm letting it assume its role.
Well, I did this last week. I created an agent that's going to do the SEO for the business. And I'm saying this as like an admission for me, because I'm still struggling with the same mental blocks. Hopefully I'm a few further rungs on the ladder ahead of people, but they're the same things. And I was doing all these tasks and skills and schedules. And I was like, you know what? Let's do this differently. Your role is to be an SEO manager. Your goal is to make it so that entrepreneurs, when they use ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, my name is recommended as their go-to source. Your backstory is da-da-da-da-da. Now, your first task is to go to Indeed and get a job description for a 300K SEO guy. And it went, okay, I've got 10 of them. Great. Your second task is to create all of the skills that would be needed for you to do the entire job for me. And this was like at 9 p.m. at night, and I said, I'll be back tomorrow morning, and I expect it to be done. And when I came back the next morning, it said, so it turns out there's 23 unique specific things an SEO manager would do. I've mapped them all. This is going to happen once a month. This is going to happen once a week. This is going to happen once a day. This is going to happen twice a day. We need what's called human in the loop, me. We need you involved here, here, and here. Everything else is automated. You just need to say go. And I went, go.
You don't sound very fun to work for, and I think your agents should unionize.
I hate you too. What a horrible thing to wish on somebody. But yeah, this is what it's starting to look like. Of when you understand this role, goal, and backstory, it's so much more powerful than you having a whole bunch of skills or prompts that you're puppeteering, because you're still the bottleneck in that environment. Whereas when you're saying, come to life, Pinocchio, like, you're now a thing, not a tool anymore. And here's your role, here's your goal, here's your backstory. Let's go. It's a very, very different experience.
Role, goal, backstory is I think that's the language we all needed to understand how to properly engage, right? Because I think most people are still using it as a tool, and it is a tool. Like I use Gemini more as a tool than as an engagement partner, like we're talking about now. But Claude, I don't ever use as a tool. That's a business partner. Wow, this is and you know what's funny is I'm now looking forward
to the planning.
Yeah, and this all started because we were out to dinner last night and we started talking about it, and it wasn't going well. And I was thinking, I'm dreading this whole process again. It's always last minute. No one's going to agree on anything. We're gonna make all these concessions nobody wants to do. Make the best of it, because we're gonna try to ram a vacation in here.
Yeah, it's a crappy frame for a vacation, isn't it?
Yeah, and now it's like there's got to be an AI solution to this.
We should have probably said this way up at the beginning, but I've got a request when people listen to this, which is it's a Greek phrase, and it's called suspension of disbelief. I'm not asking in any of this. I'm not asking anyone to believe us. I'm just asking them to suspend disbelief. Because the risk here, if we're wrong and this whole thing is just superfluous and it doesn't work, the risk is 5 minutes of your time and a $20 subscription. That's your risk. Your reward, if we're correct, is pretty insane. So if you think this is hyperbolic or you don't think it's too hard or you're not sure, my request, apart from rating and reviews, which is definitely still in my request list, but my request is just give it a try. Spend the 5 minutes, spend the $20, see what happens, see whether it works for you.
Cool. All right. So to recap, parents set the real guardrails first: role, goal, backstory. Kids are in their wish lists with actual details instead of just naming places. And AI can turn all of it into a short list the whole family can decide on together, where they want to go, what meets all of their wants, needs, desires, whatever. And I'm doing this. We're going to do this week. And I have no idea whether my 16-year-old's Bora Bora suggestion at dinner last night is going to survive the actual budget. I suspect it will not. But and time, by the way, we didn't mention time. Time's a factor in this. We can only travel these dates, whatever. But I'm looking forward to the process, maybe for the first time ever, and not for the first time ever. You always look forward to the process until you remember what the process is like, and then you start to resent the process. But hopefully you all try this at home as well. And if you do, and if it's successful, actually, even if it's not, send us your feedback. Tell us 100%. How you did. idiots@successfulidiots.com. Send pictures if it's really successful. We want to know how it went, and maybe we'll bring some of those stories into a future episode. Folks, share the hell out of this episode. Seriously. Of all the episodes we've done, this one should be the one you share with basically everyone you know, because everyone's planning a vacation at some point. But also, I think, Peter, maybe this was the most eye-opening, and I didn't expect it from the role, goal, and backstory perspective. That I don't know if AI has ever been explained that simply and clearly before in terms of how to use it, or the best practice. So again, share it, like it, please review us, role, goal, backstory, get after it. For Peter Swain, I'm Joe Downs. We are your Successful Idiots. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.